connecting that circuit with the hands at that prayer position. And then scanning the body head to toe, or head to sit bones in this case. Aware of areas of tension. Are we holding on? Are we in an uncomfortable seated position? Are we forcing ourselves already? And we've barely begun our practice. Or maybe noticing those areas where we might feel particularly charged as well, ready to ignite that fire, that inner fire, to activate the solar plexus, the Manipur chakra. Shifting the awareness to the subtle body of breath now as well. So deep inhalation in through the nose, expand the tummy, expand the rib cage. And then as we exhale, being sure to empty everything out. It's an equal breath, so Samavriti, making sure we exhale about the same amount of time as the inhale. And that we've finished that outward breath. Finally, our reminder for pratyahara, which is that detachment from the senses. It's a soft, gentle detachment. It's not conflicting. Again, we're just a quiet observer. We return to that state as a quiet observer of the emotions, of the movement of thought, the movement of feeling. We're not looking for a conclusion or an answer. With the next deep inward breath, beginning to reach the hands towards the sky, expanding, opening the eyes, gazing skyward, letting the head drop slightly back here. As we exhale, dropping the left hand down towards the left hip, or just next to the left hip. We'll lean into that side, keep the right arm nice and straight, or a slight curve. We're just bending over towards the left side. Inhalation here to expand down the right side of the body. And exhalation to gently come back up through the center. Left hand meets the right. We'll inhale and lengthen and stretch. Exhalation, leaning over to the right side, drop the right hand, look up from underneath the left arm. Take a deep breath and expand here. And then release the breath, soften, come back up towards the center. This time as we exhale, folding over the legs, releasing the arms, support the weight, let the fingertips slide out in front. Take a bow. Don't have to worry about going too low. Just try to lengthen that lower back region. With the inhalation, rising very slightly, walking the hands over towards the left side, a kind of 10 o'clock position. As we exhale, take a bow down over that left knee. With the inward breath, we're peaking up, and then walking the hands all the way across the center, through the central position, over to the right side, 2 o'clock. An outward breath as we bow over the right knee. Inhalation coming back up towards the center. Another bow here, maybe slightly deeper this time, stretching with the arms, coming onto the fingertips. As we begin to rise, keep the chin tucked here, shrug the shoulders, consciously round off the spine, the hands slide or walk back, and we'll catch the knees in the palms here, push back, Upavistha Majariasana. We're really hunching and rounding the spine as we empty the breath. As we inhale, however, the hands slide up to the insides of the knees, the shoulders roll back. We open the heart, lift the chin, big deep inward breath, expand. Exhalation, sink downwards, backwards again. Maybe the weight shifts slightly backwards as well as we tuck the chin and round the shoulders. Inhalation, returning, rising, expanding. And exhalation, sinking down one last time. Use the hands as a kind of anchor to support the weight, stop us tipping too far backwards. As we come forwards again, back to the neutral position, just sit tall, hands meet at heart center, inward breath reaching up. This time as we exhale, backs of the palms meet, the hands dive downwards, search to interlace the fingers behind the tailbone. Tucking the chin helps to facilitate that. Then we roll the shoulders back, open the heart, lift the chin and start to bring the hands away from the tailbone here. We can stay as we are, broaden the heart space, notice the breath as it rises and lifts the heart, or on the outward breath, fold, take it a little deeper, bring Agna Chakra, the space between the eyebrows, down towards the earth. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and on 1. Wherever we are, bringing the hands back to the tailbone. If we're folded, we'll rise to meet our neighbours. And then on the inward breath, the arms sweep wide and high, reaching up once more. Exhalation, a last bow over the legs here. Catch the weight, slide the hands away. We're not staying, begin to rise and round off just like we did before. But this time the hands will slide back past the hips. We'll release the legs out in front. Shoulder width, knees are up, and start to take a little bit of movement here. If the shoulders feel a bit tight, maybe point the fingertips out and widen up slightly. And then just drop the knees side to side. Notice that intention, that subtle desire to kind of want to pop the hip and push and tense the glutes slightly. Maybe even do the same with the chest. Kind of pop and sit up, pop the chest and sit up. That pectoral muscle, we almost stretch slightly as we pull the shoulder back. Just embracing the movement and those little hints that the body gives us. For 3, for 2, and for 1. We come back to that central position. You might need to lengthen by pushing the feet away very slightly. Adjust the hands again. We're going to go into a reverse tabletop. So roll the shoulders back, open the heart. On the inward breath, lift the hips. We don't have to go too high too soon. You might find that this early on in a practice, if you push too much, the thighs cramp up a little bit. So we'll try and avoid that. We don't want cramp. Just hold in for the next 10 minutes. Hey. For 3, for 2, and for 1. On the exhalation, float the tailbone down and backwards to between the palms if it's available. Straighten the legs, bring them together. Sit down, arms go wide and high, reach up, Dandasana. There's the inward breath there. On the outward breath, fold over the legs. We don't have to go too deep too soon. Find that peak point where you feel the resistance in the hamstrings and the lower back. Take a bind and then a little rock on the sit bones just to ease yourself a touch deeper. Release the breath here. Inward breath rising very slightly. Use that bind now as if we were clicking the legs into the pelvis, the head of the femur into the pelvis, and pop the chest forwards. Really push the tailbone out behind. Lift the chin if it's available and sink a little bit deeper. This is your version of your Paschimottanasana. Don't forget to breathe. Slowly beginning to rise. Sliding the hands up next to the legs. Again, roll the shoulders back, open the heart, catch the weight just behind the hips, knees come up, same as before. We'll drop the legs side to side. Just loosen up as we begin to wake everything up. knees heading over towards the left side as we lean into the heel of the left palm. We're creating a kind of half svastika, the peace symbol shape with the legs here, as we reach right arm up and over towards the sky and then down to the inside of the left knee. There's a skip with that left hand that happens here as we shoot for the other side of the mat with the left hand, ground through the heel of the palm here, pop the chest on the inward breath, and as we exhale, twist and just peek slightly over the left shoulder, but don't force the neck for Mrigasana. And the deer pose here. Maybe have a go at activating that right leg, the right quads and the glutes on the right side, all around that right hip area by kind of pushing forwards. Deep cycles of breath here. And it's at the bottom of the outward breath that we twist a little deeper, but don't twist in the neck, make the twist true to the spine here, the lower region of the spine, middle to lower, that thoracic region. Gently releasing the tension, walking ourselves back around through the center. Right arm goes up and over. Adjust the legs immediately towards the other side. Take that half svastika shape. Reach with the left hand towards the sky. Find length through the spine. Inward breath. Exhalation, left hand inside of that right knee. Skip the right arm over towards the other side of the mat. Again, pop the chest. Inhale, exhale, peek over the shoulder. And that left hand serves as a kind of anchor point over the back of the right knee to help us pop the chest and pull the right shoulder back and almost push the left shoulder out towards the opposite side there, the left side there. 5. 4. 3. 2. And for 1. On the outward breath, gently walking the hands back around, left arm up and over. Find that spot the same way as we did before, and a little bit of movement side to side. We'll come back to stillness and return, revisit that reverse tabletop. So fingertips forward, shoulders roll back, the heart opens, the head can lift and drop back here as well if it feels available. If the shoulders are a bit stiff and the neck doesn't like it, then don't go for it. Inhale, lift the hips, drop the head back, expand the tummy on the inward breath here. For 5. For 4. 3. 2. 1 last cycle of breath. Exhalation, lower the tailbone down, but send it closer towards the heels this time. We'll clap the arms around in front, tuck the chin, and let the shoulders shrug as we lower down towards Setu Bandha Chaturvangasana. So we're heading towards our bridge position. We'll have hands down past the hips, and then on the inward breath, hips lift up towards the sky, push into the heels here and ease the shoulder blades underneath the body. Let the palms tip up. A few cycles of breath here. One last revolution of deep inward breath and outward breath. And on that exhalation, lowering the hips down towards the earth, mindful of the lower back. One by one, we'll bring the knees up and in towards the abdomen. There's an option to lift nose or forehead to knee here as well to help round off. And maybe take a little rock side to side, a little massage of the lower back into the mat. As we come back to stillness, we take a bind with the right hand here, Hatha Padangusthasana, so right hand to right big toe. The head and shoulders release down to the mat. Right heel pushes towards the sky as we straighten the leg. Releasing left leg down to the mat as well. Left hand just covers that left thigh or left hip as we push up and out through the right heel here. Don't worry if the leg's bent. We're working towards a straighter leg. Maybe if you've got a strap or a jumper handy or a towel, you can hook it over the foot, and it will give you a little bit of length in the arms and allow you to hold the foot a little further away. For 3, for 2, and for 1. On the inward breath, expand the tummy. And on the exhalation, lift nose to knee, pull the leg in, let the left hand slide down the left thigh. That's a reminder to keep that leg grounded, that left heel grounded. And we're pulling the leg in closer towards the face here. For 5, 4, 3, 2. And on 1, gently release head and shoulders down to the ground. Left hand moves to left hip, and we let everything, the right arm, right leg drop towards that right side. We're just opening out in the pelvis here, opening that hip. The left hand's a reminder for us not to tip over towards the right here. We don't want to tip. If everything on the left side starts to lift, we're going a little too far. For 5. For 4. For 3. 2. And on 1, we bend the right knee. Keep hold of that big toe if it's available. We're going to rock over onto our left side and catch the head in the left hand. If you're not sure, take a peek this way at this body. So we catch ourselves in that nice chilled out, relaxing position, Ardha Anantasana, or sleeping Vishnu. We extend the right foot towards the sky here and then start to pull in. But we want the heart space and the pelvis open towards the left side of the mat. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and on 1, allow a bend in the right knee, almost playfully rock onto the back, catch the left knee in with the right nose to knee, hug around the shins or the head of the knees here, a little rock side to side. Don't forget to breathe. As we come back to stillness, left hand to left big toe, Hatha Padangusthasana. Extend the left heel towards the sky, release the right leg, right hand on the right thigh, head and shoulders down to the ground. We're pushing out through the left heel. Again, this is that time. If you fancy using a strap or a jumper or something, then for 3, for 2, and that big expansion with the inward breath on 1. Exhalation, lift nose to knee, right hand slides down the right thigh. 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, head and shoulders down onto the mat. Right hand back to the right hip, left leg, left arm, open out to the left side. Again, remember, a lot of the time in our seated positions, we're required to activate the body. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And contrary to that, when we're lying down in supta, in the reclined positions, we're required to soften and surrender, to let the body be almost kind of floppy and loose. So here, there's a degree of activation that happens, especially in that left side where we're hanging onto the big toe. The left forearm probably aches as we do so as well. But we've got to try and beckon the body to soften so that we can open that hip, open the pelvis. Let's take a bend in the left leg, rock over onto the right side, catch the head in the hand for that half infinity pose. and extend the leg. Interesting how laying on our side can be so tricky. It's like a balancing position, isn't it? Don't worry if the body wobbles. Keep that internal dialogue nice and healthy. It's easy to be hard on ourselves. Let's allow a bend in that left leg then. Rock onto the back, both knees up and in. A little rock side to side. Maybe nose to knee again. And as we come back to stillness, Ardha Halasana. So Halasana is the plough. With the half version, the hands are down past the hips. We push the heels up towards the sky. Really activate, pull the feet back, activate the quads here. So we're almost pulling the kneecaps up as we do so. We'll start to point and flex the toes forwards and backwards. Consciously take deep cycles of nasal breath here as well. Maybe constrict the throat. Start to bring in a gentle or slightly inclination towards the Ujjayi breath, which is the oceanic breath where we almost hiss the air in and out of the nose, but with a constricted throat. Almost like we were fogging up a piece of glass or a mirror. And on the next point of the feet, beginning to lower the legs away from the body, a slow, steady outward breath. The knees come up and in, we cross the feet, rock and roll forwards over into Chaturanga Dandasana, your low plank, when you're ready. There's always that like, what moment? Just do it. There we go. Upward facing dog. Slow and steady. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. We're not going to stay. Allow that pressure in the knees here as we rock back, round off the spine, tuck the tailbone and the chin, slide the hands back about 6 inches, then shift the weight forwards again so the shoulders are above the wrists. Marjariyasana. Release the breath. Then take a deep inward breath, Vittalasana. Push up and out through the tailbone. Lift the chin and the crown of the head up towards the sky here. Really push the earth away. Outward breath, round off. And inward breath, return to that cow position. Let the spine drop and be heavy. Start to work with the pace of your own breath now. Always the inward breath as we lift the head and push out through the tailbone. And always the exhalation as we round off and we tuck the chin in. 4, 3. 2. And for 1. Coming back to that neutral position, we point the fingertips out towards the outside of the mat and begin to rock side to side, left to right, right to left. Almost allowing the shoulder to dip slightly as we do so, but consciously embrace that little bit of a stretch that you might feel in the wrist, in the forearm. We're not forcing anything here. Maybe start to turn that into circles. Remember, it's not choreography, so it doesn't matter how we think it might look. In theory, nobody's watching us. We don't need our eyes really when we're practicing yoga. unless, of course, for drishti, our focus, our focal point. But then that's only momentary anyway. Start to slow the circles down. Reduce the amount that we move. And head back towards our Bharmanasana, our tabletop. So wrists below the shoulders, that neutral position. We'll push a little more firmly into the heel of the left palm as we take right arm towards the sky. Parivrtta Bharmanasana. Really reach. Ultimately what we want to do here is pull the right shoulder back and push that left shoulder towards the right side. So we're opening the heart space and creating length as well. Almost as if someone was pulling on our hands, trying to pull the arms out of the sockets. As we exhale, release the hand down underneath the body. We're threading it throughout towards the left side, bringing the right shoulder down towards the earth and the head with it. We want to relax the neck here, so don't be forceful with it. Option to take that left hand up towards the top center of the mat, but pull the left shoulder back. So we're pushing into the back of the right palm and the right forearm as we look up from underneath the left armpit. Or we can go a little further here and send that left hand around to search for the right hip or the upper inner right thigh. Again, we want to pull the left shoulder back, look to the sky. You might find that there's a desire to lift that left foot and open the pelvis out as well to kind of follow suit with that open heart space. By all means, embrace that if you want to go with it. It's easy to tip over though. So maintain a little bit of pressure into the back of the right hand. For 5, 4, 3, an active left foot that's in the air, if it's in the air, for 2. And on 1, those of us with the leg in the air, bringing it back down, ground through the left knee. Those of us bound, releasing left hand around. And all together, left hand in front of the face, a nice firm push into the earth. Slow and steady. Untwist the neck, take the right hand towards the sky, reach up, find length. Inhalation, exhalation back down towards the earth. Immediate change to the other side, left arm reaches up, pull the left shoulder back, push that right shoulder towards the left. Look up towards that hand. For 3, for 2, for 1. Reaching on the inward. And as we exhale, release the hand down and under, thread it out towards the right side, left shoulder to the earth, head down towards the earth. Remember your option. So you might head towards the top center of the mat and pull that right shoulder back, looking up from underneath the armpit, or perhaps you're going straight around for the bind, upper inner left thigh. So we're wrapping that right hand around the back. And of course, if you start to feel tempted, you might want to come onto the ball of the right foot. That might be a part transition, or even lift that right foot towards the sky, pull the shoulder back and activate the foot as well. Push out through the heel. So it's that dorsiflexion, pulling the toes back towards the shin. And that way we're tensing the quad as well. For 5, for 4, for 3, those of us with the foot in the sky, bringing that right knee slowly, steadily down towards the earth. Those of us half bound, release the right hand, release the bind. And then all together, right hand in front of the face, slow and steady, uncoiling, rising as we do so. Left hand towards the sky, reach up. That's the inward breath, outward breath, left hand towards the earth. And then walking the hands away, slow and steady. We want to bring the heart space down towards the earth, but lift the chin, open Vishuddha as we do so. Push back and out, up and out through the tailbone. And don't let the thighs come forwards too much. Like that playful puppy bow. Remember the breath here, conscious, equal breath. Notice at the bottom of the outward breath as well, that additional weight, that slight weight in the chest, pulling you down a little closer towards the mat. Try to embrace it without being forceful. Last cycle of breath here. On the next deep exhalation, make sure to kind of pull in the pelvic floor muscle, pull in the abdomen here. Allow it all to constrict as you empty out the last bit of air. And as we inhale, begin to push into the elbows and the forearms. Shift the weight forwards. We'll head towards the Sphinx position. Slowly, steadily, especially with the lower back, release the hips down. Then start to roll the shoulders back or pull the shoulders back and away from the ears. If you're like me, you might need to slide the forearms slightly forwards. A stacked joint is a stable joint, so we want shoulder above elbows as we lift the chin and look forwards. Really lengthen through the legs here as well. Point the toes. For 3. 2 and for 1. Have a little firm push into the elbows away from the earth, then stacking one hand on top of the other, lifting the elbows as we support the weight and sink down. Makarasana. Release the breath here and take a little rock side to side. We want to almost press the pubis bone into the earth as we do so. We're sinking into the mud like the crocodile. Really embrace the earth here. Bringing the awareness to the heartbeat, the sensation of the heart beating against the ground, to the breath. Preparing for Bhujangasana, the cobra, but the baby version, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, kind of roll and pull the shoulders back, but use mostly the lower back here. So we're not really pushing with the hands, we're just inhaling and looking forwards, lifting the chin slightly here. Exhale, a soft bow down towards the earth. And then this time with the next inward breath, we'll rise a touch higher and push a little bit with the hands. Keep the shoulders down and back. So almost bringing the shoulder blades around the back to meet in the center of the spine. Exhale, back down we go. Inhale a touch higher, or maybe much higher if it feels available in that lower region of the back. And exhale. Wave the body back down. We'll tuck the toes this time and wave through the body. So we want to lift knees and tailbone first. If you're not sure what I mean, the toes tuck, the knees lift, the tailbone lifts. We push into the chin, then tuck and wave up. And back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's take a nice walk on the spot here. So really wiggle the tailbone left to right, right to left, but make sure we're pushing towards the rear of the mat as we do so. So we're pushing into the fingertips, pushing into the hands, the heels of the palms. So we don't want to confuse the position by having our shoulders almost above the wrists and being somewhere closer to a plank. Let's slowly take the walk towards the front of the mat. We'll arrive together a halfway lift here. Ardha Uttanasana, peek forwards, maybe the hands to shins. Don't worry if the legs don't want to be straight just yet. Embrace a bend in the knees. Exhale, take a fold. Inhalation, rise into the top. Arms go wide and high. Reach up. Big deep breath here. Push the hips slightly forwards. Let the head drop back. Exhalation. Releasing the hands again. Searching for the ground. We'll frame the feet and step, or maybe if you're feeling a bit fruity, bounce into your low plank when you're ready. Away through the body. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Let's step the right foot forwards under the body, a low lunge on that right side. So bring it to the front, drop the left knee, untuck the toes. Option to stay down here, maybe on the fingertips. But if you do, roll the shoulders back, lean into that front leg. Try to make sure the knee's more or less above the ankle. And lift the chin, look forwards. If it feels like there's more available here and the flexor on the left side's okay, then swing the arms out wide. And reach for the sky. Let the head drop back. Maybe take a bind here with the hands, or find that prayer position. Or if the shoulders are still tight, keep them shoulder width. A few cycles of breath here. Inhale, lengthen slightly. Exhale, release the hands, frame the foot, rock the weight back, Ardha Hanumanasana, the half Hanuman here, so straighten that front leg and the spine, rise on the inward breath. On the outward breath, take a fold if it's available. And again, think about train tracks here. We're keeping everything on the left lined up, everything on the right, as much as is available, lined up, so almost right ankle, right wrist close together. You'll find otherwise you're tempted to kind of sit off of the line and at this diagonal position to counterbalance the weight. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Shift the weight forwards, frame the front foot, tuck the toe, lift the rear knee, step back to the high plank. Really push the earth away here. A hollow palm, so the back of the knuckle isn't really pushing into the ground. It's heel of the palm and the fingertips, a bit like those basketball players with the big hands that hold onto the ball with one hand. And then dropping knees, chest, chin or forehead. Chaturanga Dandasana. A soft version. Bhujangasana, the cobra, same as before. Lift and look forwards. Exhale, release, tuck the toes, wave through the body, back up to our upward face. And downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Arrive in the position, push up and out through the tailbone, then step the left leg under for the low lunge, left side, drop the right knee, untuck the toes. Remember your option, rise and reach, or maybe stay low. Lengthen on the inhalation. And as we exhale, release the hands, frame the foot, rock the weight back for the half Hanuman. Straighten that front leg and the spine on the inward breath, almost lift up slightly. Then as we exhale, find your alignment on the way down and take a bow if it's available. Often if you find that you're up here, so you think, what's he doing? He's got really straight leg, it's all right for him, it's easy. It's not, it took me about 10 years to be able to fold over my legs. They used to be like old bits of rusty metal. But if we find we've got a big bend in the knee, there's a few tricks. Ideally, if we had like blocks or something like that, we can lean and support the weight. It makes it a little bit more accessible and start to straighten up that leg and maybe work towards activating and pulling the toes back as well. If we don't have blocks available, sometimes a little cheat code or a little trick is to lean out to one side and allow the leg to straighten slightly, support the weight, and slowly try to work your way back towards the front. But really it's a case of learning what obstacles your body throws at you and how to kind of circumnavigate where you can in a safe way. So always try to keep your joints stacked, like the hip above the knee and things like that. Never sit back, for example. Okay. Let's begin to rise, shift the weight forwards. Again, frame the front foot. We'll tuck the toe, lift the knee, step back to the high plank, same as before. This time with control our Chaturanga Dandasana, hover above the ground for 3, for 2, And for one, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then that little crawl step, or maybe a bunny hop if you're feeling fancy, with wide feet towards a squat position at the front. When you're ready, ease yourself down. Don't sink too deep too soon. Little rock side to side. And we're slowly kind of easing the heels in. We want the feet to start to open towards the outside, just to facilitate that kind of external rotation. And then we bring the backs of the elbows there, the upper, or the, well, I suppose it is the upper elbow because it's the upper arm, to the inside of the knee. Search for that little dimple on the inside of the knee. And as the tailbone sinks down towards the earth, lengthen the spine, lift and push with the elbows, but not too much. Just enough to bring us outside the comfort zone. We'll inhale and almost peak up slightly here, so lengthen a little bit more, push, activate and rise. Often we go into a happy baby here. Here we're going into the plow, so legs over the head. If the toes don't touch when the legs go over, remember to catch your back with your hands, all right? So if you're not sure, take a peek. We inhale, lengthen. As we exhale, we collapse, bring the chin in, round off the spine, hands down past the hips, the legs go over the head and the toes touch. If they don't, catch the back, support your weight. That's it. We all okay over there? For 3. For 2. And on 1, preparing that rock and roll forwards, Chaturanga Dandasana. So cross the feet, rock forwards through the seated position, ground the palms and then kick the legs out behind. And then of course, upward facing dog. And downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's sweep the right leg up towards the sky, Tripada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Keep the hips fairly parallel towards the earth here. And remember to push back towards the rear of the mat. Let the left heel be heavy. We'll step under the body towards the front. Virabhadrasana, the warrior 2. So windmill that left arm up and around. Let the left heel drop. Blade of the foot pushes into the earth. We rise a little higher than we need to. That's the inward breath. And as we exhale, find our alignment on the way down. Remember, we're pulling left shoulder, left hip back. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing the hands to heart center. Rise with the inward breath slightly. Straighten the front leg, then sink down towards the rear of the mat. Skandasana. Down we go. Take your version here. Don't let that left knee collapse in. If you're on the ball of the foot, that's fine. If you find you're somewhere up here or you're supporting the weight, because that's all that's available, that's all the body wants to give you at the moment, that's fine as well. For 3, for 2, and on 1. Inhale, lengthen again, pop up or peek up slightly. Then exhale, bring the hands towards the earth, crawl towards the front, almost animalistic here. We want both hands inside the right foot, ball of the rear foot, lengthen through the spine, Uttan Prishthasana lizard, peek forwards here. We're not staying for long. Send that right foot back to the high plank and lower Chaturanga. Wave through the body. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Left leg sweeps up towards the sky. Tripada Adho Mukha Svanasana. For 3. For 2. And on 1, we bring it under towards the front, Virabhadra on the left. Warrior 2, drop that rear heel, windmill the arm up and around. Again, rise higher than we need to. Then as we exhale, sink down. As always, we're aiming with that sword that we're holding out at the front, as per the story of Virabhadra. So the middle finger of the left hand, that's our focal point, our drishti. We rise slightly, bring the hands towards heart center. There's a little cheat code to kind of pull that rear heel in if you know you're wide in your warrior, and then sink down to a slightly narrower Skandasana. But again, if you find that you're on the ball of the foot, that might even facilitate that a little bit more. There are different variations of skandha. That's it. For 3, for 2. And on 1, we're crawling towards the front, so back towards the front of the mat. We have both hands inside that left foot. Line up all the heels at the front now. Ball of the rear foot, lengthen, look forwards. Exhalation, high plank or straight to the low plank if you wish. Step that left foot back. Chaturanga. And upward face. Urdhva. And Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Same as before, let's bounce forwards or maybe take a step or a little walk into that wide position. Our Malasana at the front, wide feet. So our squat. Ease yourself down side to side. Hands to heart center if and when it feels available. In theory, it feels a lot more available now. A few nice deep cycles of breath here. And with the inward breath, pick up slightly. And this time as we exhale, bring the hands down towards the earth. We'll take a momentary crow, which is our kakasana. So keep the knees stacked on the backs of the elbows. If we're experimenting with crow, this is something for your homework. That little rock forwards and backwards, which is a crow hop. Maybe get a couch pillow or a cushion or something like that in front so you don't headbutt the floor if you've not done too much of this. And you're just finding that sweet spot. I like to think of it as almost balancing a stone on a stick. We're trying to work out the difference between that weight distribution with regards to the head and the tailbone. Just finding that sweet. There we go. Once you're there, hold whilst I ramble on. I've of course been here all of this time. I wasn't rocking backwards and forwards. Let's kick the legs back. Chaturanga Dandasana when we're ready. Upward face. And Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Have a little walk on the spot here, so wiggle the tailbone left to right, right to left. Nearly there, don't worry. And you'll be released from your torture. So coming back to stillness, arrive in down dog, so push up and out through the tailbone. We're going to go to boat, Navasana. So we look to between the palms. This is our moment to practice our version of our jump through. And remember, we spoke about this quite a lot. If the body doesn't allow us to get the legs through and underneath at the minute, there are lots of variables that come into play, like the length of your arms, but also how flexible the back is and how strong the core is. Then it's okay to just bring the legs to wherever they will go, and then sit into that position, you know. So find your version, but work towards bouncing and bringing the legs right underneath the body and then out in front. Navasana. If the desire's there to chuck a bit of spice on it, and straighten those legs, extend, maybe point the toes here as well. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Ardha Navasana. Let's lower, just bring the lower back to the earth, but keep the shoulders, the legs, the arms off. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1, release. Just let the body be heavy and loose and floppy for a moment. Take a few deep cycles of breath here as well. One by one, bringing the hands down past the hips, palms down for just a moment. Knees come up, Setu Bandha Chaturanga, the bridge position. As we inhale, push the hips back up towards the sky. Ease the shoulder blades underneath the body. Maybe interlace the fingers here as well. And we'll take a few deep cycles of breath. Really push the pelvis towards the sky. Allow the tummy, allow the chest to expand on the inward breath. And on the next exhalation, beginning to release down towards the earth. Slowly, steadily. Keep the knees up, send the arms wide here. And then a little bit of movement, drop left to right, right to left with the knees. As we come back to stillness in the center, one by one, mindful of the lower back, the knees can come in towards the abdomen. We'll take one last tug here, lift nose to knee for just a moment. Empty the breath out. And then as we start to inhale again, take a bind around blades of the feet, ankles, backs of the knees, depending on what's available. Ananda Balasana, the blissful child or the happy baby. The knees wide, and we're on a long flat back here. So if you find the tailbone starts to lift like this, you probably want to shift the bind and maybe bring it to the ankles, the calves, or even the backs of the knees so that we can soften and let the spine sit nice and flat on the back here. We don't want to have that resistance there. And then at the same time, we're beckoning the knees to widen, so to push out towards the outside. And then we're pulling down on the feet as well, so we're pulling the knees a little closer towards the ground. Sometimes a little rock from side to side, or little figures of 8 help to facilitate that action. Let's come back to stillness. Softly, gently bring the knees in towards the abdomen again. Empty the breath out, lift nose to knee. As we release the legs down to the mat, nice and long, length and width, arms length and width as well. We can prepare to enter our final relaxation. So maybe tuck the tailbone here, have a little wiggle side to side, ease yourself right down into the earth. Sometimes it's nice to bring the shoulder blades under the back a little bit and broaden the chest to open the heart space. And when we inhale, we really feel that breath rise up through the spine and lift the heart. Taking a moment now as the body starts to kind of numb itself through the stillness and the pressure, the embrace of the earth beneath it. Allow the body to be the guide for the awareness, the cognitive process. And let the awareness follow suit. Let it start to dissolve and sink as well, beyond the movement of thought, beyond the movement of feeling. Almost as if we were daydreaming beyond a daydream. Very gentle detachment. A stillness to those fluctuations as we drift off beyond those little flickers of coloured light in the darkness of the mind's eye. Expanding the abdomen, expanding the rib cage with the inward breath, bringing the awareness back. And as we exhale, discovering gentle movement in the fingers, in the toes. The ankles and the wrists. beginning to lengthen through the legs to point the toes. Start to stretch. Taking the arms over the head as well, really reaching and lengthening from the fingertips down to the tip of the toes. Just being gentle with the lower back as we slowly bring the arms back, and one by one bring the knees up and in. One last time. Nice little hug into the abdomen, and perhaps a little rock side to side. And choosing to turn softly through one side or to gently rock up into a seated position when we're ready. Maybe you're easy, your Sukhasana, or your Ardha or full Padmasana when you're ready. Begin with breath as we find length together one last time. Arms reach wide and high, connecting the palms. Exhalation, bringing the hands down to heart center for the Mahamrityunjaya. Aum Triyambakam Yajamahe, Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam, Varukamiva Bandhanam, Mrityor Mukshyam Amritat. And bow to peace within. Aum Shanti.